Okay, hi everyone. We are beginning the composition project for marimbas, and this is your form that you're going to be working on today. This is day one. The first thing you're going to do, obviously, is to put your name. So I'm just going to put a generic name, which if I'm going to call myself Susie. Okay, and Susie, that's my last name, Susie Doe. And we're going to leave this part blank for now. Homeroom teacher, my homeroom teacher is Miss Hodges. Okay? All right. And then here you're going to put the names of everyone that's in your group, including yourself. So Susie, Bob, Jane, Brad, and Joe. And then it says here, using note cards, you're going to create a 4-measure pattern that has these qualities. You have to use at least one bump, bump, T rhythm. That's this guy here. And this is equal to 2 beats. Okay? And then you can only use 1 rest, and you can only use 2 sets of T's, 2 TTs. Okay? And so you have these green cards here that have 1 beat rhythms on it. You have ta, and then you have TT, and then you have a rest. Okay, you can only have 1 of these. And then you have these 2 beat rhythms, which I believe we have the bump bump T, and we have the tom T. Okay, and I'll get to these in a minute. So then you're going to get creative. And you can do this in one of 2 ways. You can line them up first, like so. Ta, ta, bump, bump, T. And you don't have to have them be the same, although that does help. You can do, if you wanted to start off, bump, bump, T, ta, ta. Okay, you can do it this way where you line it up first, then try clapping it together as a group, but you all have to be able to clap it at least 4 times through with 1 to 0 mistakes. So if this was my group, I would say, okay guys, here, how about we try this one? And then we would get together and we would try saying it and playing it. Ta, ta, bump, bump, T, ta, ta. Okay, watch your rhythms and make sure that you're not clapping the beat and saying the rhythm. Make sure you're actually saying all the sounds. So again, it's ta, ta, bump, bump, T, ta, ta. And again, you have to do it 4 times through. Ta, ta, bump, bump, T, ta, ta. 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 And if everyone is successful, then of course you can keep it. But if it's not working out for somebody in your group, then you got to tweak it a little. What may be happening is maybe you need to use that 1 rest. It always helps to have a rest maybe at the end. It gives you a nice stopping point. So now it would be ta, ta, bump, bump, T, ta. Ta, ta, bump, bump, T, ta. And again, try it 4 times in a row. And maybe you need to rearrange to where you have the same rhythm starting each measure. Like this. Bump, bump, T, ta, ta, bump, bump, T, ta. So you can try different ways. This is what today is for you to try different things. Keep in mind the restrictions that you have. You can use as many of these as you want, the bump bump T's, but you have to have 1. You have to have at least 1, so you can't have just straight tas. And you can only use 1 rest, so you can't have every other beat be a rest. And again, remember you can only use 2 sets of T's. So, where's my T's? Here we go. So you're only allowed two T's, so you can either have them starting each measure, you can either have them here, you can have them come here. Just make sure you only have 2 sets. This one right here, this one has a different feel to it. I'll just create I'll just create a pattern real quick with this, and to make it easier to sound out, I'll fit it with this. And this here, we pronounce it tom, ti, ta, ta. We don't touch on it a lot in 5th grade. We touched a little bit on it in 4th grade, but not very much in 5th grade. And so this would be tom, ti, ta, ta, tom, ti, ta. It has a nice uneven feel to it. So if you were to play it, it would be tom, ti, ta, ta, tom, ti, ta. 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 Okay? Now, that's one way you can do this. If you want, for those of you who prefer to hear it first, then write it, you can always just get with your group and decide, hey, this rhythm sounds really good. How about this one? Okay, and you guys can talk about it and see what works out. And that's a little bit more challenging because you're not sure how to phrase it, but then you can try and figure out what it was that you were playing. Okay, to make things go a little quicker, this is essentially what you were clapping. Bump, bump, tee, bump, bump, tee. Bump, bump, tee, ta, with a rest at the end. Okay? So that's essentially what I just clapped. Bump, bump, tee, bump, bump, tee, bump, tee, ta. Bump, bump, tee, bump, tee, bump, tee, ta. Okay? So that's what you're going to be working on today. And by the end of class, you should be able to have something down. And even if you haven't decided what it is, you want to change it, that's why we have you writing in pencil. Make sure by the end of class, and we'll make sure and designate a certain time when you should be writing, go ahead and write down underneath the idea that you have at the end of class. Even if it's not your it's going to be you might change it later. So all you got to do is copy exactly what you have. And if you notice, I'm actually writing pretty light, so that way when I come back next week and decide, you know what, I really couldn't do that, we need to change something, it's easier to erase. So that way you don't have to drill a hole into your paper, okay? And then next week you can fine-tune it, or if you're happy with your rhythm, you can move on to the next step. All right? Have fun, guys.